Hello, football fans. Welcome back to Grand Football TV. I am your host, Mr. Chigs. And today we are diving into the exciting new season of the Fantasy Premier League. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a total newbie, I've got everything you need to know to get started and make most of your fantasy team. So let's get into it. So the Fantasy Premier League, or the FPL, is a game that lets you create your own team of real life players from the Premier League. And you score points based on how those players perform in actual matches. Yeah. It is a fantastic way to test your football knowledge and compete with friends and millions of other managers around the world. So let's go into it. The first thing you need to get to know is to make sure before you get started, head over to the official Fantasy Premier League website, or you go to your app store and you download the app. You will need to create an account, guys. And if you don't have one already, you need to create one. And once you are all set, you can start building your team. So let's talk a bit more about building your team. In the FPL, you have £100 million to build a squad of 15 players. Yeah, and this includes 2 goalkeepers, 5 midfielders, 5 defenders, and 3 forwards. Yeah, that's it. So I'll take it again. 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 3 forwards. Yeah. Remember, you can only pick a maximum of 3 players from a single Premier League team. So if you say, for example, you want to pick players from Arsenal, you can only pick 3 players from Arsenal. You cannot pick the whole squad. You can't pick the whole squad, unfortunately. You can't pick the whole Man City squad, unfortunately. You can only pick 3. Yeah. So balancing your budget is key. Balancing your budget is key, guys. You will need to decide whether to invest heavily in star players or spread your funds evenly across the squad. Don't forget to keep an eye on the fixtures and the form of the players. Sometimes it's worth picking a cheaper player with a favorable run of games. That helps when you pick a player with a favorable run of games. Now let's talk about how you score points in the FPL. Your players will earn points based on their real life performances. So I know it's called fantasy, but it's based on their real life performances in the Premier League matches. And here's a quick rundown of the basics. So let's look at the points breakdown. So if a player plays 60 minutes or more, they get 2 points. If a goal is scored by a forward, you get 4 points. If a goal is scored by a midfielder, you get 5 points. If a goal is scored by a defender or a goalkeeper, you get 6 points. And if an assist is made by any player, they get 3 points. And if the goalkeeper or a defender keeps a clean sheet, they get 4 points. If a midfielder keeps a clean sheet, they get 1 point. And if a goalkeeper makes 3 saves in a game, they get 1 point. So for every 3 saves, they get 1 point. And a penalty save gives them 5 points. A penalty miss by the player who takes the penalty, that player gets -2 points. And if any player gets a yellow card, it is -1 point. And if you get a red card, it is -3 points. If you score an own goal, -2 points. So remember, players can also earn bonus points on their overall performances in matches. So even if your player didn't score or assist, they can still rack up valuable points in the game, guys. They can still rack up valuable points in the game. So let's talk about transfers and then chips. This is one of the strategic aspects of the FPL. Making transfers. And for each game week, you get one free transfer to change a player in your team. And if you don't use it, it rolls over to the next game week, giving you two free transfers. But beware, guys. You can't have more than two free transfers saved up. Yeah? So any additional transfers will cost you 4 points. Any additional transfers will cost you 4 points. So that could have an effect on your team going forward. Yeah? So now let's talk about the chips. You have 4 chips to use throughout the season. 4 chips to use throughout the season. And the first one we'll talk about is the wild card. The wild card helps you make unlimited transfers for one game week. But I like the way the wild card works because it gives you the opportunity to change players unlimitedly for one game week up until December, and then you have the wild card again starting up at the start of the year, which you can use up until the end of the season. So you have unlimited transfers for another game week from January till the end of the season. Then you have the triple captain. Triple your captain's points for one game week. So we all know that if you choose your team, there's always one player who's the captain, and the captain in your team gets double the points. So if they finish, say, a game and they rack up, say, 10 points, because they're your captain, they get 20 points. But if the triple captain chip gives you an opportunity to take that 20 points to 30 points. So you know what that can do in a single game week. Then the bench boost, you earn points from your entire 15-man squad in a single game week. So what does that mean? So everyone in your team, from those on the bench up onto those actually playing, you get points for each and every player. So it's normally good when you want to use your bench boost, be sure that everyone should be playing in the game at least. So you rack up points, and you rack up decent points. Then the last one is free hits. Free hits. This one, you get to make unlimited transfer for one game week. However, it reverts back to your original squad for the following week. So this is one you have to keep an eye on, especially when you do it. Don't now forget and say, oh, I've got Haaland in my team. Maybe you only brought him in that free hit. He's going to go back. So you probably have Darwin Núñez back, something like that. So you need to make sure you're checking it so you don't lose out on that week. Then using your chips at the right time can give you a massive advantage over your rivals. It will give you a massive advantage over your rivals. So fantasy football isn't just about individual performances. You can also join a mini league with friends. You can join a mini league with family. You can join a mini league with co-workers to compete against each other. That reminds me, at the end of this video, I will be posting the mini league. If you want to join us, Grand Football, we will be having fun this year by just seeing where we finish at the end of the season. Yeah, so this will be more like a global league. Yeah. So you see how you stack up against managers around the world. And being part of a mini league adds another layer of excitement and bragging rights. It's always fun, guys. It's always fun to have a bit of friendly competition. Always fun having a friendly competition. So before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips for a successful FPL season. Before you guys come after me, I haven't won an FPL season, so these quick tips are just general tips, guys. I'm not saying it based on someone who has won it before. It's just a general observation, general tip that I think can help everyone be successful throughout the season. So the main one, especially for the newbies, you have to stay updated. Keep an eye on the team news, injuries, suspensions, so that you know what's going on with the player you want to pick or the players you already have in the team. Then you plan ahead, look at the fixture schedule and plan your transfers strategically. Remember, like we said earlier, if there's a game week where a team will probably play twice in a week, maybe a Wednesday and a Saturday or Wednesday and a Sunday kind of thing. So them players in those teams will probably get more points that week. So you plan ahead. Then be flexible. Sometimes your plan will not work. The plan where you thought, oh, I'm going to put this player, I'm going to do this, it probably won't work. So you should be ready to adapt, be ready to bring in players or ready to use players you necessarily wouldn't have used, but you have to use them for that week. Yeah? Use your chips wisely, guys. Use your chips wisely, guys. Timing is everything when it comes to the chips. I've seen weeks where I've decided to use my chip for, say, for example, the triple captain. I'll tell you a quick example. One season, I put a player as my triple captain, and he ended up getting 0 points. 0 times 3, what does it give you? You know the answer to that. Yeah. So choose wisely. Use the chips wisely. Timing is important. Timing is important. And at the end of the day, have fun. Have fun. At the end of it, FPL is about enjoying the game that we love. So just have fun. Don't make it all so intensive. Just have fun and you enjoy your fantasy season. So that's all we have for you today on the Fantasy Premier League Guide. I hope you are as excited as I am for the new season. Don't forget, guys, to like, share, and subscribe. And, we will bring you more tips, updates, and all things football this season. Drop your questions and comments below. And let's keep the conversation going, guys. Let's keep the conversation going, guys. Good luck with your fantasy team. And may the best manager win. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in. Join us same time next week. Grand Football, for the love of the game.